about 2 minutes before it started. That's We were talking about that at MAC yesterday about how it gets dead quiet just before the meeting. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a special meeting of the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners, March 7, 2026 meeting for strategic planning. I'd ask everyone if they would please rise, and we will have an invocation by Commissioner Krasny, which he will follow with the pledge. Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you be so willing to bow your heads with me. Thank you, dear Lord, for this wonderful day that we've been given to lead our community. Hopefully, we make decisions that keep in mind all of the residents of Lenawee County. Let's be strategic and decisive in leading this county with this great strategic planning meeting. Look after our county employees today and always. Look after our first responders with this difficult weather. Let us give thanks and blessings and to all of our service members abroad. Look after the loved ones of those that have fallen for freedom and safety in this country. Look after the families of our residents of a couple counties over as they have lost loved ones and their belongings in this horrible, horrible weather incident that happened yesterday evening. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Krasny. I will introduce our County Administrator, Kimberly Murphy, who will introduce our special facilitator for today.
Thank you. As you remember, last year, we were talking about doing some strategic planning, and the time kind of got away from us. But while Deputy Elliott and I were at a county administrators conference, we were talking about the fact that we needed to do some strategic planning, and we were reaching out to other counties to see what they were doing. And there was a gentleman at our conference who is very well known in the industry of county administrators. He is well looked upon, valued opinion, and gives all the rest of us a lot of direction. And while we were talking, he said, "You know what? I'd come and help you." And as we continued that conversation, I found that Mr. Vanderberg has done this with a lot. He'll tell you, I mean, I dare say maybe 100 different municipalities and helping them understand what their goal setting should look like to develop a strategic plan. And so we picked today. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a bad weather day, but Mr. Vanderberg plowed through the bad weather last night and showed up here so that he would be able to be in here this morning. He came all the way from Kent County. So Mr. Vanderberg, would you come forward and kind of introduce yourself and talk about where you got your start in county government?
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Al Vanderberg. And it's my pleasure to be with you today, especially since July will mark 40 years since I started here as a budget policy analyst after graduating from Michigan State University. And I spent a year and a half here, and it was a very impactful year. I got to work on so many things. It was actually my second time. One of my internships while I was getting my master's was doing budget. That's probably why Bill Bacon hired me, the little experience working in budget. It has, but it's funny when I think back that I had the whole county budget on, Lotus 1, 2, 3 or something like that, and did amendments doing that. Is this way too loud? I don't know how to turn it down. My wife says I don't really have an indoor voice, so. But yeah, so I went from
Lenawee to Greenville, where I was the assistant city manager, and then to South Haven, where I was the city manager, and then to Kent County, where I was the deputy administrator, on to Ottawa, where I was county administrator, and then back to Kent. So I've been back at Kent for 4.5 years now as the administrator. And just let me say, this courthouse is wonderful. I kind of had a picture in my mind of what it looked like 40 years ago. And I'm just amazed at what you've done with this. So when I was at Ottawa County, we built the county courthouse downtown Grand Haven. And we took a special care to invest extra to make it look like the 1895 courthouse, and which also conform more with the Grand Haven's Central Park zoning, planning and zoning district. And so I'm kind of a geek about this kind of thing, and this is a phenomenal building. You did an amazing job with it. So strategic planning, I kind of got into this when I was hired in South Haven. It was on a 4-3 vote. And so I met with all 7 council members individually, and I quickly realized they had 7 very different visions of where the city should go. And I could see my first review coming up in 6 months, and I thought, you know what are the odds that more than 2 of them think they didn't make a big mistake hiring me, and 2 will probably think I'm doing a great job. So I put a method together. I stole from a school superintendent and a city manager, and I've modified it over the years. I've worked with somewhere around 125 groups over the years. I typically will do this for free within Kent County or the counties I serve. I just do this free for almost everyone now. But I love the idea of doing this with you just because I was here. You've contributed a lot to my career, so this is just a tiny little way I can contribute a little back. Plus, it's so much fun to be able to work a little bit with Kimberly and Shannon. You have great staff here. I mean, they are known around the state as being top administrative folk. And I see a little bit of myself in them with how they think and some of the creativity that they show. So anyways, my pleasure to be here. What we'll plan to do today is start with an icebreaker. And when I do these kinds of things, it's usually like a funnel. We start really broad and then we work right down. So we'll start with an icebreaker, and then we'll do a SWOT, and then we'll do what I call a brain dump. It's a divergent exercise just to get all the ideas out of your head as far as what you believe Lenawee needs to accomplish. And then what we'll do is kind of a convergent exercise where you'll take a break and we'll kind of create categories and list the items in the categories. And then you'll come back and rank those things. And then we're pretty well done unless we have time. And if you have one particular issue that you really want to get some direction on, we could do a Disney storyboard if there's time. So that's really what my plan is. And if you're ready, we can launch into it. So I'd like to start with an exercise that I learned from the New North Center. It was a group that Jim Brooks and some other philanthropists created in Holland to help. Everybody can do this. So to help businesses in Holland, Zeeland area create some new products during the Great Recession. And it became a great training thing for leadership of all kinds of organizations, a lot of nonprofits. And then Rubbermaid bought them out and they're no longer available to people like me. But this is an exercise, fuzzy ideas. And what I'd like you to do is just all on your own, kind of put a number between 0 and 100 by each one of these words. You know what? You may think that never is 0 and always is 100, but you may not. You may say, yeah, nothing's always. So go ahead and do that. And once you're done, we'll quickly get these up on the board. Oh, they can hang on to them. Yep, they can hang on to them. So when I did this with Oceana County, it was 7 in the morning is when we started. And we had about 45 residents in the room because somebody had spread the rumor that the board was going to mess with property taxes at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So they kind of filtered out when they saw it really wasn't quite that exciting. So, all right, how we doing? Everybody done? All right, I'm going to call out for a high and a low. So often, give me a number.
5.
Higher than 5. Higher than 60.
70%.
80.
80, higher than 80. All right, 80s are high. Okay, I heard a 5. Anybody lower than 5? All right. Always.
9.
99%.
100. Hundreds are high. I heard a 9. Anybody lower than 9? 1. Okay. Interesting. I'd love to hear the story behind that another day, maybe. All right. Anybody lower than 1? Okay, sometimes.
15.
40.
Higher than 40. 40 is it. And did I hear 15?
Yeah.
Lower than 15. All right, 15s are low. Very good. Okay, never.
0.
Okay, 0 is our low.
We got 20.
20, anybody higher than 20? Right, 20 is our high. Usually,
70.
higher than 70. 75, higher than 75. 75 is our high, and I think I heard 50.
20.
20, lower than 20. All right, 20 is our low. Okay, most of the time,
80.
higher than 80. 90? Higher than 90. All right, 90. Anybody lower than 80?
30.
Higher, lower than 30. All right, 30s are low. Occasionally. Higher than 30.
50.
50, higher than 50. 50s are high. I heard 30, lower than 30.
15.
10.
15, did I hear 10?
10.
10, lower than 10. All right. Okay, seldom.
5.
Low, higher than 5. 20, higher than 20.
30.
Higher than 30. Right, 30s are high, and I think 5 is our low, lower than 5. All right, 5 is our low. Very good. Almost always.
80.
90, higher than 90. 95, higher than 95. Did I hear a 80 in there?
Yep.
Lower than 80. All right, 80's got it. How about rarely?
10.
10.
Lower than 10. Okay, we have a high of, oops, 10 is our low. Higher than 10. Higher than 20. 20s are high. How about frequently?
75.
80.
Higher than 80. Higher than 87. That's very precise. Okay, 87's. How about lower than what I hear, 60? Lower than 60. All right, 60s are low. Quite often.
90.
Higher than 90. 92, higher than 92.
93.
93.
No. I feel like I'm at it.
Ralph, get an auction going.
All right, how about the low? What do we have?
70.
Lower than 70. All right, 70s are low. All right. So, I mean, I do this because it really shows the value of getting together and planning. These are terms all of us use multiple times a day. And so you would think that our perception of a word would be more similar, but we have a gap of 75, 99. You wouldn't believe some of the variances I get with groups on always and never. Of course, when I worked for South Haven, we dreaded the day when the Palisades nuclear power plant was going to go away. It went away, and now it's the first power plant in the U.S. to be recommissioned. So that was a never. That was one of the biggest nevers, and it wasn't never. So yeah, so I mean, you have 25, 20, 55, 60, 40, 25, 15, 10, 27, and 23. So you see there's a variance in perception. And when you think about it, these are just words that we use every day. But then when you think about actually talking about difficult policies, uh, or budgets, or allocation of resources, or dealing with some hot public type issues, you can see that being together, working together, thinking through planning has a huge value. In fact, when President Eisenhower was General Eisenhower, he had a couple quotes that really stuck with me. One was, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And then the other one was, plans are nothing, planning is everything. So more about getting everyone together, figuring out kind of a future course, not carving stone tablets here, but basically working to kind of get, at least maybe the next year will be at least firm when you develop the plan. So you have a accountability measure between you and staff and you. All right. We're going to move into the SWOT, and Carissa, this is where I could really use your help. Whoops. Okay. That's the marker. Yep, we'll do strengths first. Okay, so I do a SWOT because a lot of times it informs the divergent thinking that comes after the SWOT. So we're going to first do a whole list of strengths. And strengths are those things that you do really well. You know you do it well. The community knows you do it well. It's just something you're known for doing well. Now, it doesn't just have to be the county organization. It can be a strength of the community, which impacts the county. Weaknesses are those things that you know you could do better with right now. Maybe it's a resource thing, maybe it's a policy thing, but you know that you could do better with something. What are those weaknesses? And again, it could be weaknesses of the organization. That's what you're primarily looking at. But also if there's weaknesses that the community faces that impact your revenue or something like that, that could also make the list. So opportunities are things that haven't happened yet, but you think they might. Or it's a decision that's made that hasn't been implemented, or it's a proposal that hasn't been approved. It's something that if you can grab a hold of, it will strengthen Lenawee County in the future. And so it's an opportunity to maybe change something, do something a little different, and basically improve the county. Threats are those things that haven't hit yet that could really cause some problem. And that could be something, I mean, a lot of times these end up being things like the economy or state mandates, or there's a lot of things that you don't control that could really impact you negatively. And so by identifying those and watching for those, the idea is hopefully we can be nimble and avoid some of these things, or at least deflect some of the damage that they could do to us as an organization. Now, things can be on more than one list. I remember when I worked with Allendale Township, which their main campus is in Allendale, and then they have the downtown campus, Grand Valley does. They had Grand Valley State University as a strength, a weakness, an opportunity, and a threat. They made all four. And but very clearly, many times a weakness is something that could be an opportunity as well. And so we'll see how that turns out when we work the list. Okay. So what are the strengths of Lenawee County?
Transparency. Transparency.
Transparency and the people, so the residents of the county. Employees. Okay, employees. Krista can write fast, and she writes neat.
Commitment. Collaboration.
Oh, no, if I should just write a list and you'll see how neat it is. We couldn't figure out whether I was right or left-handed. And unfortunately, I wrote right-handed, and I probably should be a lefty writer, so it's not pleasant, but
I would say education and training.
History. I'm trying to think of a very difficult word to spell.
College. College.
college. So Adrian College.
Yeah, because there's no more Sienna Heights.
Right,
Right.
which is an opportunity.
What other strengths do you have? And by the way, staff can participate in this part. The only part that I'll ask staff not to participate in is when we actually do the rankings. And that's where I want only the elected people to rank. But as far as the idea generation, as far as the SWOT, I want the staff to feel free to put ideas up there as well. All right, should we move on to weaknesses? And we can always revisit a list and put a strength back up, but I committed to not write on the walls, so we can just hang that over. Yeah, perfect, good. Okay. So what are some of the things you're doing now that you think you could do better?
Transparency.
It's funny how that in communication many times can end up on all the lists. I think we do a great job of communication, but not everybody thinks so. So, all right. What else do we have? What are some of the things we're doing that could be done better?
Attraction of businesses.
Right.
Zeitgeist. What is zeitgeist?
I didn't spell it for you, so you can put it up there.
Z
You just looked it up on your phone.
Zeitgeist. That is fact, and that's coming from a guy who did not win the spelling bee contest.
Define it.
Use it in a sentence.
Yeah, use it in a sentence.
The current zeitgeist of the times is it's a point of historical perspective of like a certain mood, like the zeitgeist of the 1960s. We know what that is, right? The love, not war stuff. Or the zeitgeist of the 90s was baggy jeans and blah, blah, blah. The culture of mood or spirit of the times.
Okay.
How to phrase it.
Guy is doing that.
Assisting with industry. I don't know how to phrase it. Drawing industry.
Attracting industry and assisting in, yeah, because, so really it's attraction and retention of industry. Yeah.
Youth retention.
Oh,
I was gonna say, yeah. Demographics of aging population.
Housing.
great.
So is this affordable housing or affordable housing?
You don't like to talk about low end.
Right.
Industry. You look at where we were at to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Placemaking. Placemaking.
You need help, person.
How about aging infrastructure?
Aging infrastructure.
Kind of along the same lines of like, just blight and, really unattractive housing.
The county just filed a suit against them all.
Saw that.
Keeping up with technology.
City, yeah.
I don't know.
Human Services and Resources.
Office space.
And that's throughout the community?
No, the
The
county.
county, okay, got it.
I was gonna say,
Competitive income and salaries, maybe.
Yeah.
What was that one? Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
uncertain revenue sources.
Aging building up there, building.
Aging,
The structure buildings too.
not necessarily. I would think of it.
Aging buildings could be another one, I think.
Yeah, I think so. All right, other weaknesses. You guys created quite a list of both quickly, so you're doing great. Okay, shall we move on to opportunities?
I think Carissa gets the star for the day for doing it.
I do too.
If you told me.
I do too. I usually have somebody, either staff or an intern in the community, somebody who I can help train to do this kind of thing, but this was too far to drag anyone with me, so.
Collaboration. Siena Heights College.
Industry, new industry.
Tecumseh product site.
Home rehabilitation programs.
When you say collaboration, who do you have in mind? Is it other governments? Is it anybody, everybody? Is it?
Sharing with other counties or other organizations that have similar projects like ours. So, for instance.
Okay,
You're fine, you're doing great.
Right now, situation, sorry. Right now, we have a situation with medical examiner, okay? So we share with 3 counties, but it's kind of like a little shaky right now, so. And there's other opportunities out there of things.
we just signed on with MSU in October to be our new medical examiner. And we are recruiting, so
Ah,
anyways,
good to know.
yeah.
I'm sure our administrator knows that, right? Sharing that secret?
Okay, what else? What are other opportunities that Lenawee County has?
Um,
Small business development.
County campus footprint. County campus footprint.
Kind of like a campus master plan kind of thing, is
Kind of
that?
like all of our property right here is, do we need more? Do we need less? Do
Okay,
we need-
all right,
At
all
some
right.
point, we need a new courthouse.
Hmm.
And
Over where at?
The judicial.
Oh, okay,
The judicial.
okay.
Well, and we have other areas like early voting where we don't have enough room.
Okay. Other opportunities.
I mean, I don't know how detailed you want to get, like collaboration. I mean, what about is getting more beds used in our jail? Is that part of collaboration?
It could be, depending, I mean, you could collaborate with other agencies.
Right.
Yeah. That could be a collaboration. Calhoun County comes to mind as a county that's done a lot of that as far as filling their jail through collaboration with others.
Mac just had Cole do a white paper for us on that
Oh,
collaboration.
okay. Nice. Other opportunities.
Education.
Kind of along those lines, but more like skilled trades. Not so much like a four-year degree, but welders, electricians, plumbers. I know a lot of that is aging out, and a lot of these, they don't have young people to kind of take the businesses or to work for them.
How about, maybe this is too detailed, elected official attraction.
Oh,
What does that mean?
That means, how do we get people to run for county commission? We're not all gonna be here forever,
We're school boards.
Speak for yourself.
Oh,
or school
you know,
boards.
Yeah, all
right.
kinds of stuff, yeah.
Or county, or township board.
Yes, township board, school board.
how is your recruitment for the boards and commissions that you appoint people to? Is, you have a lot of people?
No.
No?
That's where that meant. This may go along with some of what was talking about, but how about shared resources?
Yeah.
Sharing of resources.
I think we talked about elected official attraction. I think we need to get more engaging with getting citizens to be active in various roles. We have a lot of boards or
Mhm.
appointments, and it's usually the same names for all of them, and we have to kind of plead with them to join it, and then their attendance at some of them
Citizen engagement.
Citizen engagement is
is an
great, yeah.
engagement.
Grant opportunity.
Engagement and participation on that, citizen, if you would, please.
Grant opportunities.
Other opportunities. All right, let's move on to threats. Remembering that we can always add to any of these lists as you think of something else. All right, threats. So what are those things that you know are coming down the pike or could come down the pike that could do you some damage, that you need to be on the watch for this?
State legislature,
Yeah, you did.
our biggest threat. Unfunded mandates. Right.
Inflation.
Interest rates.
uncertain revenue.
Just general cost of living. Young people can't afford to buy homes, that kind of thing.
Sure get out of raises. MIS racetrack down the recent year.
Oh,
Not many events now.
yeah,
It's a concern about.
that's the only event.
Well, there's.
And we lost, yeah.
So MAS,
Yeah.
Because really, that's the biggest attraction or one of the biggest within the county.
Recession. Gonna have one sometime.
other threats.
Terrorism and hacking.
Cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Does that include AI? Or is that separate?
Probably I'd do it separate.
Loss of current businesses.
Loss of Sienna Heights, loss of education.
Being a border county, one of the things we're gonna lose in revenue is sale of marijuana. Because Ohio has legalized it now.
Hmm.
That's.
Oh, you had a lot of people coming up here. Okay.
a public issue.
Any other threats come to mind? Are we good with the SWOT? Can you think of anything you might have missed? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats? Why don't we start from the beginning and just show the list real quick?
Sorry, I thought of one. Sorry.
You do, okay?
Increase solar farms. Increase number of solar farms.
Oh,
They're going in around our airport, creating
Havoc.
effluent and glare issues for incoming pilots.
oh.
Size of the map.
Over 1,000.
So this area has natural wind, a lot of wind, I take it, or?
Solar, we have a lot of solar.
Oh, solar, not wind. Okay, duh. Okay, got it. All right. So that's our list of strengths.
AI could be a strength too. Besides a threat,
And maybe an opportunity.
and it could be an opportunity.
Okay, let's go on to weaknesses. Okay, opportunities.
Well, like Al said, AI would be an
Yeah.
opportunity.
And threats.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what I'd like to do is stick those somewhere. Where- Yeah, that'd be great. Because then I just want them to be able to refer to that as we do the brain dump. And I think we'll save that back wall for the ranking exercise, because I think we'll be able to get everything lined up nicely along that wall, so.
And you can just take that down. Take that one down. We'll put this one up there. Are you gonna be drawing more on here?
Yes, well, Carissa is, but yeah. All right. All right, so this is the brain dump. This is the part where the value of it for me is this. Uh, I, I think it's really valuable to do this once a year and knock some things off the list, celebrate the things you accomplish, and then put new things on the list. And the value I saw in it is having that time, that focused time where commissioners and staff come together and say, this is what we need to do. It could be a short-term thing. It could be a medium-term thing or a long-term thing. Commonly, if I'm working with the city, they'll say, oh, we need a new water plant. Well, that's going to take many years to accomplish, but you have to do a feasibility study, a financial study. You need to look at site and and then the engineering. So you break that down into steps, even if it's a long-term thing. Or maybe it's something that you want to accomplish even before the end of this year. But the idea is just to empty your mind of the things you believe that Lenawee County needs to do. This is the do it, the action list. And so if you say something that sounds a little more theoretical to me, I'm going to work with you to make it into an action step. So, and this is good for building solid and maintaining solid relationships between the board and staff, because I know from many experiences that if you, not that things won't come up, you might find all of a sudden there's a grant possibility that you didn't know when you did this. So you're going to grab onto it. So it's not like you're going to limit everything you do to this, but by the same token, it should reduce the need to randomly suggest a lot of new things during a year, because you have the opportunity here to do that. And it's also a way, when the plan is done, to hold staff accountable, to get the work done that you want done. So that's an important thing too, that two-way accountability. All right, so brain dump, what does Lenawee County need to get done? So or you're right, is that, is that like you want to do the meetings, or do you need to do a plan to do the meetings first? Yeah,
A street, sorry.
okay.
So I want people to be able to, I want a meeting so that nobody can say that I didn't have an opportunity to address Lenawee County because they meet at 1:30 in the afternoon. You can go online and say, Mr. Chairman, and they can actually talk to the commission.
So implement online interactive meetings.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, all right.
have a solid plan for the newer courthouse by the end of this year.
So is this, when you say solid plan, is that like a drawing,
Are we gonna repair, build, or move it to existing buildings?
oh,
So,
okay, so you want to complete a plan
I mean, it's not gonna happen this year, but we can at least.
for improvement of the new judicial,
figure out-
got it,
Yep,
okay. Got it,
yeah.
right, right.
A complete audit of the needs for the departments. I don't know how to say this, a complete audit of all of our departments and the space needs, the space that we need.
It's a space needs study. Yep, so complete space needs study. And we'll put complete. You can put it after. Because ultimately, when we have all these ideas and we get them set for you to rank, then you'll look at what you've ranked the highest. And then that's part of the plan. It's awesome to do this before you actually have your budget developed, because then you can make sure the resources are there or point out where the resources aren't and are there alternatives to get the resources. So, yeah. Okay, so what else needs to be done around this place?
Employee retention.
Complete plan for employee retention.
Need a solution for the medical examiner's office.
Identify medical examiner solution. I'd say the final solution, but that wouldn't be so good. So, you know, it's a little morbid, yeah.
So you ask for a GPS system or directions to a cemetery and it says you've reached your final destination.
This is a touchy one, so a complete plan for filling the beds at the jail. So do you want me to explain that? Or right now, we're fully staffed running our jail for
Mhm.
how many? Can we take 300 and some?
200, it's like somewhere around 250.
Okay, and we're averaging about 150.
Um,
And we're desperate to find out how we work with the sheriff to get those beds available to fill them up down on our cost.
We have 3 dorms in Kent County that are empty because of the law changes that happened around 2020 that decriminalized or reduced sentences. And so we don't get those lower level offenders in the jail anymore. I'm guessing, was that a little bit of what happened here too?
Yeah.
Somewhat, yeah, that's, that and diversion courts.
Okay, sure. Which, yeah. So in our case, we have to actually beef those up a little before we can use them, but, okay. So basically then it is, I would say jail,
Fill up the jail.
well, jail,
Fill up the jail.
jail space utilization, well, no, that isn't good. So jail bed utilization plan, something like that. So you can,
For the- For the public out there watching, we're not trying to get more criminals.
This would be very short term, but final implementation of the opioid settlement
oh,
programs.
yeah.
Good point. Hopefully coming up soon, right?
Nice to-
Plan completion. What are some other things that you want to get done? I heard a lot about collaboration when we did the WAD. So what are some specific things, action steps you'd like to take with collaboration?
Well, the jail beds would be one, because we'd like to collaborate with other jails that are full. I was
Mhm.
at, just recently at a MAC meeting, and they were talking about some counties that are looking for places to send prisoners.
Right?
Why aren't we taking them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we had,
Medical examiner would be a good collaboration.
yes,
It very well could be. Yeah, it probably will be. So medical examiner service collaboration, yeah.
we had one, and I'm not again sure how to phrase this, but it touches several of the areas we addressed. And that's to establish a solid working relationship with Lenawee now. Talked about bringing industry in, talked about certain utilizations. Lenawee now probably will be the tool for us to do that with.
So the action would be to develop collaboration plan with Lenawee now
Right, which is business development, so.
or business development. Yes, good one.
Then maybe collaborate with Community Action for, to expand a home repair program, or I think that would be the agency that would do it. Or the housing one, maybe.
Housing Lenawee?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they do, to be honest with you.
So you're talking the weatherization program? No,
Yeah.
rehab of housing.
And, you know,
So is it both those groups that you mentioned?
Rehab Lenawee does it. It's 1 or 2 a year.
maybe Habitat for Humanity too. Just collaborate with, agencies to create and administer, housing rehab programs. There's a couple of agencies in mind that could help, but.
So collaborate with housing agencies to improve
to
housing rehabilitation. Okay.
One mind.
Oh, this conversation brought up another threat. Well, so what do we do with that? I've got another threat.
Well, those markers won't go through. I'd pull the paper out maybe and write it. Yeah. What's your threat?
Elimination of MEDC,
Hmm.
which looks like it's gonna happen. That's a
Yes, threat.
Sorry, I didn't hear one. What was it?
elimination of MEDC. And it looks like it's gonna happen.
Oh,
Yes.
it goes over there though.
Yep, that's over there. So yeah. All right. So what are some, what?
I think
I think she wants you to go over and write it.
Yeah. I've got a whole box full of them over there. If somebody wants to grab more out of that cart. My traveling strategic planning cart, so. All right, other actions. What do you need to do? Yeah,
I think even though it's under opportunities, it might also file under this as far as tourism goes. I think Lenawee County historically was a huge tourism destination going back 100 or more years. And a lot of it's gone. I mean, we still have MIS, we still have other events, but I mean, it used to be a destination of a frontier town and, pavilion and go-kart tracks and prehistoric forest and all that, and we don't have that.
so is it develop partnerships and plan to restore tourism?
Yes. We have a tourism
Lenawee.
visit Lenawee and some other stuff, but we need to collaborate, I think, a little stronger.
Is Visit Lenawee your CVB?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then put slash partners and plan, just so that makes it more of an action. All right. What else do you have? And staff people, you're also welcome to put ideas. I almost said throw up ideas. It just doesn't seem appropriate, but to add ideas to the list.
I missed some of them are on the front page because I've been moving around.
It's a good list. I mean, it's a meaty list. Those are some really, you know, significant items on there. So not a lot of fluff, not any fluff, so. All right, so what other things do you have for the do it list?
Question here. We're creating a strategic plan, but one of the things that I know we need is we just need an overall vision and mission for the county as a whole. Is that what we're developing here, or should that go on a list?
That should go on a list. If I do that too, had we done that today, we'd probably add at least 2 hours to the day. But I can either walk you through it, or we could do this again, or whatever works for that. But yeah, so ideally, when you're looking at your plan to the outside world, to me, it starts with vision, then mission, then values, overarching goals, and then the actual plan. And so all the first stuff is really more of a static. You check in every year, yeah, that still works for me. And then the rest of it is like the business plan, where you're knocking things off the list that you accomplished and adding more things on and all that, so.
For the action list, though, we could say, create a vision and a mission, you know, as something that needed to be done this year.
Yeah, you could say develop elements of strategic, or yeah, let's just say it. Yeah, like you said, develop vision, mission, values if you want to. I like doing values because it's communicating to the outside world how you're going to conduct yourselves as public servants in Lenawee County and what they can expect. And then it's great if you can develop overarching goals. So like, I think we have 5 in Kent. I think we had 4 in Ottawa. You know, things that are not going to be solved, but things that are your North Star. You're always, so maintaining and improving fiscal condition is one of the overarching goals in Ottawa, and also there's a similar, not worded exactly like that, in Kent. We're never gonna get there. It's a constant thing that's in our focus. So what are those, you know, improving services, improving communication, but just having like 4 or 5 of those things that you focus in on and act as kind of a bucket for some of the strategies and outcomes that can be organized underneath those. All right, so what else do we have for the action list?
There's a well human services building full.
I'm sorry?
There's a well human services building full.
We have empty space at the Human Services building currently.
Locate partners for the use of human services.
Right.
So identify potential human services building tenants.
Yeah.
One of my last projects here was drafting the financial stack for that project. Yeah.
Been a great investment.
What else do you have? This, by the way, you're doing great. I mean, this really is a solid list of things.
One of the things, I'm looking back on some of the comments that have been made before by commissioners as we've talked about things, and I don't know if this is on there anywhere, but one of them indicated work with local organizations to discuss quality of life opportunities existing in Lenawee. I don't know if that goes along with the tourism or if it's a separate item.
I would say they're related, but I would have them both. Because when you're talking quality of life, you're talking crime rates, you're talking, what are some of the amenities that are available? How's the educational system, the K-12 system? Is it an attraction for those who might want to live or build houses here? So I would say, identify quality life aspects of Lenawee County. Yeah. Does Lenawee County have any significant trails that link into other regional trails?
Yes, that's a great thing that we have, and it's continued to expand. We have the Kiwanis Trail and other trails, and we actually had a presentation. Jackson County kind of runs it, but they do gravel bike races on all the dirt roads and through all the parks and trail networks up to Washtenaw County.
But the only problem is it's internal in Lenawee. We don't connect with the Washtenaw system. Or, we don't, the Kiwanis Trail is kind of like an area with Adrian Township, Tecumseh, and Adrian. Hudson has a trail system, but it doesn't connect to the Kiwanis Trail. And so it's kind of their individuals.
I mean, that might be something to look at, whether it makes sense to connect those things. That's kind of a big deal right now
Well, if you
in
could-
Michigan, to connect the trails, and it makes it an attractive place for people to come and stay and ride I don't know. But that's part of quality of life too.
Well, that's a good point because we're only miles from the Washtenaw County Trail system. If we could hook into that, that would be phenomenal.
One of the things, one of the things that our airport committee or commission hears quite a bit about is that we have a long list of people waiting to get into our Lenawee County Airport to have their planes come in. We have almost 40 people on a wait list to get in. So is there something here where we need to focus a little bit on what does that look like for the airport? Does that mean additional hangars? What do we do to continue to build the airport as an economic driver for the county?
Okay.
I don't know if that's something the commission wants to identify or not, but it's
Yeah, I
something
think
we've
that's-
talked about at the committee.
I think
level.
that's a great point.
Yeah.
Does this group appoint the airport board?
Yes.
Part of this group is the airport board.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so let's, why don't we say, did you want to do something with trails or no? Identify trail connection inventory or
Yeah.
develop
good.
trail connection
Yeah.
inventory?
Possibility.
And then,
Yeah, interconnect all trail systems or something like that.
and
What
then,
you think?
Yes,
We should
an
look-
airport expansion and investment.
yeah,
Or airport hangars expansion. I want to be careful about
Yeah.
airport.
Yeah,
expansion.
no.
Hangar
Yeah,
expansion, right?
that would be a great issue, boy.
and were you thinking something along the lines of economic impact of the airport, or is it really more tied to the hangars and getting people there?
I think both of those things. We have a large number of people already on our field. And as a result of that, every so often our airport manager brings a presentation of what that economic impact is on the county. And
Okay,
it's, not everybody is aware and understands that the impact that the airport does have on the county. And so I think that they also don't realize that we have at least 40 people on a list waiting to get into our airport to store their planes.
that's huge.
And so those two things, economic development and the development of the hangars, do kind of go hand in hand. If we were to be able to create a plan and finance additional hangars, we could bring more people in, which is then going to cause an economic development impact on the county as a whole. On our restaurants, our school, I mean, we have people who fly in for dinner. We have people who fly in to take their child to, a college event, or parents fly in to
Oh,
watch
that's
their
great.
children at a college
That
event.
is great.
So
So it would, develop plan to improve airport economic impact. Is that a separate thing, or is that just tied into that? do you think?
I think they're related. They could be separate because I think it's important for people to understand the impact that the airport has. I think that that's something that's not known. So,
Yes. Good idea.
yeah.
Love it. All right. That would be great, actually. All right, thank you. It's not quite empty yet, but, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I better. I don't want to spill in this beautiful new courthouse, so. Okay. All right. What else do we have for the list? You know what? Why don't we take a break? We are doing great on time. Let's take 10 minutes. Is that good? Okay. So now I turn this off, I take it, right? We'll be 10:15.
What you're saying about it.
All right. You're doing good. You have quite a list going here. What else do you need to get done around Lenawee County? Do you have, so one of the things I was hearing with your engagement talk was, improving attraction of citizens, residents for boards and commissions and some of that. Do you have any action item there that you want to?
Can you restate that one more time?
Well, you had several collaboration, engagement type concepts going. One of them had to do with, attracting more citizens to apply for boards and commissions that you make appointments to, and recruiting people ultimately to run for elected office. Is there any action there or not?
Probably should be, and let me digress for just a second. We have a young lady, Jen.
Yeah.
That does some amazing things, and Department on Aging was hurting for
Right.
drivers, hurting bad for drivers. She put together it was a TikTok presentation.
Right.
It was awesome, absolutely awesome. And they fill up with drivers right now. She was that good. So if there is such a program, there's the gal to do it.
That was my exact train of thought. And there's other counties as well that have various programs like RSVP, which is Retired Senior Volunteer Program. And they kind of recruit retired seniors to volunteer throughout the community. So kind of something like that to fill vacancies and jobs and help out in the county and the broader community.
I think one of the things, I mean, Jen did a great job in doing that, but I think one of the problems when we're talking about overall for the whole county to bring in people from different districts, the problem we have is that internet or electronics is not as popular in Lenawee County as it is in some other areas. So how do we do that? I mean, it's one thing to have our website, have our web page there, but what are we doing for the people that aren't, online?
That's true. And I think that should be an action item. That
Yeah.
Kind of thing should be an action.
And how do you do that? I mean, do you advertise? What do you do? I mean,
Do we do text? Yeah. Like communication.
yeah, I just texted Kim a message.
Yeah, yeah, right.
In which the courts are using it Sorry, which the courts are using to do mass text. But that was specifically to manage the jury panels for the criminal case that we have going on right now, the very large Dale Warner case. And so we had hundreds of jurors potentially coming in, and we needed to be able to communicate with them on a daily basis, whether they should or shouldn't come in that day. But we have not utilized text as a general rule to communicate to all of the different participants that we have in the county that would want to be part of that. And the thing and I don't know if that's a possibility or not, that would be something we'd have to look at with software.
Wouldn't that be a constant contact program?
Well, it is. I don't know. Does it have a texting capacity though?
That's what.
What is the capacity of it? though? Do we know? The microphone speaker. Maybe. It's a different thing.
I think.
Oh, curious.
Yes,
Do it.
we would have to check into it. So I mean, if you want to put it on the board, we could consider that. And if we're going to consider that, we may also want to consider, are the staffing levels that we have for communications and marketing adequate?
Maybe we need a program to identify the best way to communicate with our public.
It sounds to me like develop an engagement plan.
Yes, yeah, we're starting to get.
Right.
We're doing all the same thing. I mean, like I said, you can do good at communication and bad all at the same time. I'm living proof of it. So develop engagement plan. curious is, so finally they're gonna start shaking that federal money loose to develop broadband in rural areas around the state. Is that happening here too, or no?
That's a touchy subject. So the broadband, some of the broadband funding is being released. There are a couple providers locally who have been identified as being able to receive that. However, as you know, it's also up to the private industry as to whether they want to actually take advantage because they're only getting 50% of their build out cost in that BEAD funding.
Right,
And so we are just within, I would say this last month, being made aware of certain vendors within the community that are indicating that they are hoping to be able to expand, but it does not cover all of our residents yet.
oh, okay, all right.
They ought to eat the money up pretty good, because in our area, I've got it down. Okay, there's several that are run 2 foot apart. I mean, you've got A, B, and C, and they're all, A and B have got their lines all put in. Now along comes C and he's putting their lines in. It's repetition. There's too much repetition within that industry that's wasting a heck of a lot of money.
It really wasn't utilized to get.
Thank you. It really wasn't utilized to get people that are off the normal grid area, internet service. That's what everyone thought that was gonna happen with it, but, it's not.
I think we've encompassed with this statement, develop energy plan. From that, we can extrapolate while we're developing. That's
Right,
sufficient for now.
I was gonna say, develop engagement plan. When we come back and look at this, are we going to recall that that's a develop an engagement communication plan with our residents? Because develop engagement plan could mean a lot of different things.
I would put that right in then.
Yeah,
Put
communication.
I would actually just put what she said in, and I can work with that. So develop communication engagement plan with residents. And I'll massage it a little when I
Okay.
get it back to you.
And it doesn't, we've stated her name, so it doesn't have to mean that Jennifer is all in charge of it or all engaged with doing it physically. You can hire out, brochures that get mailings or texts, et cetera, so.
That was my point. My point.
Yeah, I know,
You can
yeah.
develop it.
Yeah, I mean, it likely will have multiple strategies and it might be staff does some consult or a contractor might do, could be a whole number of things, so. All right, what are some of the other things you want to get done for Lenawee County?
Something about small business, so maybe, maybe actually collaborate with, Lenawee Now or other agencies align, something, to meet with them to, about business development.
Is there an actual plan? Does anybody have a plan for attraction of small businesses?
We have a contract with an economic development unit.
That's a
Okay.
touchy subject.
Okay. We're all over those today, right? I mean,
Right.
all right, so I mean, it sounds like something like, work with area economic development agencies to develop a small business attraction plan
Or large business, all businesses.
or business attraction
yeah.
plan. So that would be the action is to get everyone together. It probably, you would be the convener and working with them. It's unlikely you would actually have to do that yourself, but as part of the team that you'd put together by collaborating.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe do something like this about, brain dumping ideas even.
All right. What else do you have?
We're supposed to be working in the counties. But we're supposed to be looking at solutions for all citizens. So cities, townships, so on. One really bothers me, it has bothered me for a long time. Has to do with taxes and money. We got universities in this county that own a tremendous amount of property. Some of them, one particular one, maybe towards 25% of the tax base within the city. So they can't get any dollars. They buy a home, they rent it to a college student or group of college students and pay no taxes whatsoever.
Mhm.
I don't know how anybody needs, how you go about attacking something like that, but it's a very, very big problem within the city of Adrian.
So you're saying that's university-owned housing?
You bet. They own
Not
blocks.
paying tax though. They didn't pay a degree of tax. Many of the houses, if you would, have been purchased on the peripheral of the campus. They have purchased houses and used them for resident, rental, let students live in them, but that's taxable. The old YMCA in Adrian was remodeled for staff to live in. That's a taxable property. Some of the fraternities, they bought houses and made them fraternity, all taxable. If it's used for an educational purpose, if they offer classes in that building, then it's not taxable.
But you're saying that a problem or a weakness is the percentage of land that's not taxable.
Yeah, in essence, yeah. And not trying to pick on any particular problem, but, you know, it's a problem it's a silent problem. Very few people say anything about it. But at the end of the year, they're just short money because of that. Now, I'll give you a prime example. Years ago, we had what we called the county farm. People that had nothing
Mm-hmm.
went to the county farm to live out the rest of it. And they farmed it and made it certain near pay for itself up to the last end. Okay. We still own that farm. We, the county. We, the county, pay taxes because we rent the farm to a farmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the right thing is to do what we're doing. Maybe, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna throw this out, across the road from the airport. The airport paying tax, I'd have no idea. But they create income. And if you create income, you ought to pay taxes. That's, in essence, that's what I think is right. Now, you know, there's a whole lot of people that think a whole lot different than I do, but there's just an awful lot. Now, this is gonna show off a lot more when Sienna Heights walks away. But we've got two kind of major universities set up the same way, and it's a real disadvantage to the city of Adrian. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
picking on anybody. It's not the county, it's within the city.
Well, yeah, but it becomes controversial too, because while you have the loss of taxing income, you have, you know, what that draw of, you know, the college went from 900 students to 2,000 students, and that draw of bringing people into the county, especially with their sports program and everything, and bringing in for local businesses, you know, is a draw too. So you've got both sides of the street here, you know.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Same is true with hospitals. The law says hospitals
Yep.
don't pay tax, but then at least in Grand Rapids and Kent County, they buy a whole lot of other things that aren't hospitals and don't pay tax on that either. But that's also a big lift. It probably involves lobbying the state to change because all the rules are set by the state for all that. So I don't know if there's any action you want or not with that.
Think you got enough on the board to keep it.
All right, so what else? Any other actions you have that you want to put up there?
I had a couple comments, and I don't know if the commission wants these on there or not, so I'm going to throw them out and then you can contemplate them. But I meet with a number of city, village, township managers on a regular basis. And some of the things that they are faced with that may or may not come up to our level is vacant buildings and how to develop vacant buildings or empty lots within their areas. And so I don't know if that's something that we would want to take a look at. Is there anything that we could do to facilitate or assist in further development of those? Some of them are decent structures, some are on more blighted structures, that sort of thing. One of the other things that came up, and I know this is a touchy subject, but it's more regionalization of some of our emergency services. I know we're not unique in Lenawee County. I know every county, the local municipalities, a lot of people have their fire, their ALS or BLS, and their local law enforcement. And so, but as time goes on, we're seeing less and less volunteers to help work those things, and the cost of the equipment is going up and up. And so I know some of our local municipalities are struggling to find those volunteers and to continue to maintain some of those services and vehicles. So is there anything there where we would want to potentially look at engaging conversation on a regionalization of those types of services?
I have a comment for that, being a former fire person, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Ungst here, who I'm sure has a lot to say about that. But I think that problem, as we move to the future, is going to correct itself. A new fire engine today, you got engine, ladder trucks, tankers, ALS, EMS, but just an engine today could be close to $750,000, right?
Yeah,
$1 million?
it's over $1 million. It's over $1 million now.
And a ladder truck is,
About 2 million now.
yeah.
Wow.
So, there's they're gonna have to regionalize as they move forward because communities aren't gonna be able to afford this. I know a little Sand Lake Fire Department where I'm at is Franklin Township, and that's all they cover, and they're very concerned about how they're gonna replace equipment. So I don't know, and it's really, I hear what you're saying. Dave probably doesn't know this, but back 30 years ago, there was a chief by the name of, in Hudson,
Dick Opsel,
no, before him,
West Camp.
West Camp, came up with a plan. But you didn't want to live in Lenawee County when he showed the plan because
And I know
it all broke loose.
I know it's a controversial subject, but as we are brainstorming and we're looking for short, medium, and long-term potential action items, is there anything that the county can do to assist in facilitating that at some point in the future? That's kind of where I was going, because we're looking at us, I mean, we've done a SWAT, but through various communications that I have had, I'm hearing from some of the municipalities about the difficulties they're having in their finances because of the need. And unless you have a specific benefactor who's able to buy some of these things for you, it's very difficult for them.
I know.
And Kim's really landed on what is becoming a much stronger role of counties around the state and the country, is that convening role. Not with an agenda to be the 800-pound gorilla and build an empire, but more of, hey, this is a problem where we all have our own kind of administrative infrastructure. The counties is kind of the biggest. How is it possible to work together in some of these different areas? So are you guys doing any like assessing for local units through equalization or sheriff services for township? Oh, and I guess you probably have general law, but I mean.
We do. In fact, we just approved, or actually the Criminal Justice Committee is recommending a few of those shared services with the sheriff right now, where we are going under contract. But yeah, there are law enforcement, the sheriff's office. And again, that's coming up because local municipalities do not have the manpower or to add, or cannot add additional manpower. They have limited hours. And that's kind of where I'm going with all of this, and not necessarily targeting, fire and ALS, but those happen to be the most expensive services to a local community. And I'm just thinking down the road, I think we're going to see more regionalization. Some of it may happen by default, but if it's happening by default because someone ran out of money, that means there's probably a deeper problem that now has happened as a result of that regionalization and proactive approach not happening.
Yeah, I think a classic example of what you're talking about, the collaboration, is the early voting. County handles
Mhm.
almost all of the early voting for the county,
With what, Terry, say that?
early voting.
Oh, yeah.
Our county clerk handles almost every district, every township, and I think there's only one. that doesn't.
There might
Yeah.
be, I think there's a couple now, but still, yeah, we do for all of them.
Yeah, and I can tell you that's invaluable.
Oh.
I know in my jurisdiction, there's no way they have the reach. Yeah. It's on.
So then the action would be to convene the local units of government and have a conversation. Kind of a coalition of the willing, I guess.
Well, that's up to the
Is that,
commissioners.
but I'm just,
I understand, and-
this is, I'm kind of trying to clarify what
Yeah.
you're suggesting. so.
Yeah, from an administrative standpoint, in some of the things that I have heard, I don't know if that's something we want to consider on a longer term basis, is to be that convener to have those discussions. If anybody is willing to have those discussions, that's a whole nother topic, but I don't know if that's anything we want to consider or not. And if we don't, that's fine. I'm just trying to brainstorm ideas of things that I've heard, and I don't know if we want to throw them out there since we're looking at the county as a whole.
I would not mind being the convener if we got invited to do that, okay? But I don't think, I don't think we as commissioners, at least my vote is, everyone's got their own vote, but my vote is I'm not gonna go out there and say, I want to start convene this thing and take a look at how we're gonna do this. I think I'd want the townships and the cities to come to us and say, we want you to be the convener to get everyone together. Then that would be workable.
And the bridge between townships throughout Lenawee County, because there's an awful lot of donation one way or another, small, medium, large, whatever it might be. Franklin Township was really lucky in the past because they had a fellow that just did it. He had the means to do it. And we thank him for it. But you start getting into that a little bit, and some of them guys are gonna step up and think, oh, no, we can't do that. This was donated by so, this was donated by so. And we don't wanna share that. That's personal within the township or the district in which you have a fire department. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that would happen.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, a lot of, this is good conversation for sure. I've been around long enough, I mean, not as long as Jim has in the fire service, but, but I,
Are you saying I'm old?
no, no, but obviously I knew some of the older names that you had mentioned.
Right.
And in that era, it was definitely bad. I mean, there's no way that would have happened.
Right.
Back a few decades ago. Fast forward to now, it's probably still a problem. I agree with Jim. I would want to be invited to have that conversation. I wouldn't want to put that conversation on them. I think probably what's happening is you're talking to a lot of the administrators, not the fire chiefs, and the administrators are seeing the real financial issue. I think the fire chiefs know the real financial issue, but it's hard for them to say, oh, well, we're just going to step aside. Somehow it's got to come together and there needs to be a conversation because it is getting real out there. I mean, I come from a department that has been very fortunate through the years and I think our luck is not as good as what it used to be. And it's going to be really hard to continue to do what we're doing. We are going to continue doing what we're doing because we have to, but how does that go forward? And be able to afford everything. So,
Yeah.
I think we will see something happen coming up. I think we're getting closer to that, but I wouldn't want to be the county saying, oh, we got to do this. But I want to be the resource if they come and say, what can we do and can the county help us? I would be all for that.
Yeah, and I can totally respect that. And that's why I said you're absolutely right. I am talking to the individuals who are responsible for creating the budgets and establishing what does that look like? How do I build a capital plan that's going to be able to afford the continued equipment that we're going to need? How do we continue to staff this when the majority of the departments are volunteer? And what does that look like when we don't have enough volunteers that happen to come in for a call? Just looking at this down the way, in 10 years, I think in 10 years, we are going to be, if we were all still sitting here, I think that we would be looking at things a lot different because we will reach that critical component probably before the next 10 years. I was just trying to identify, I know it's a controversial subject, but I was just trying to identify this concern that I see coming up down the road, and we need to be prepared to assist where we can in those conversations.
Well, and you're working with the right people because all those fire chiefs report to somebody that you're working with.
That's correct.
So
We have the
fair-
same situation with schools, right?
Well, it is, yeah.
It's the
Just
same
like-
situation. Yeah. And who wants to be the person who does it? Has to be the locals to be the catalyst.
I don't see a problem with letting the administrative personnel across the county let them know, but we would be willing to facilitate such a program. Not that we would initiate one, but we would be willing to participate or facilitate it. I mean, it's gonna, you're right, it is gonna happen. Deerfield and Britain is doing it right now.
Right.
It's happening in the county.
Yeah.
And how many years ago, back when Ralph and I were youngsters, there were one-room schoolhouses all across this county. All closed now.
So what's the next?
Well, okay, I guess what I'm hearing is you're supportive of the administrator continuing discussions with the administrative folk
Right.
around the county. And then that may grow into something where Lenawee is invited to maybe convene something. But you don't want to just jump in and take the lead and say, let's all get together. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you get what you need out of this conversation?
Oh, yeah, I was just
Okay, good.
been out there to see where it landed.
All right. Okay, what else we have? Any other action steps, plans?
Well, one of the things I think that we're already implementing is having township or district meetings. I have one coming up at the end of March. And I do have a feeling that the EMS situation is going to come up because Seneca Township doesn't even have a fire department, so they have to collaborate. And they have to replace or to buy EMS equipment, which is very expensive. So I do think, and I'm glad for this conversation because I fully expect that to come up at that meeting. So
I will be prepared as much
thank
as I
you,
can.
thank you.
So does the county, do you set those meetings up?
Yeah, well, with the
You-
township supervisor, so we took some doing, but we have found a date and a location towards the end of this month, the 25th.
Okay.
At 6 PM. And so all for my townships, and I've opened it up to citizens too.
Administrator Murphy has done a great job of getting out into the community to speak with local communities and leaders
Great.
outside these walls. That's what they're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, we do quadrant meetings. We carve the county roughly in four and meet with them a couple times a year. Kind of very similar to what you're describing. Okay. Other actions?
I see it. Appreciate. Did we have the airport out there?
Yes. For hangars and economic impact.
I think we've gotten really a lot of good ideas so far, and I really like this whole process because it makes a timeline, it makes objectives to actually us not just showing up to the meetings and whatever happens, we're being decisive. So I appreciate all this. I've already talked to Jim about the tourism situation. We think we should have some more direct meetings with some of the leaders on that. Maybe we should almost do like summits. Like maybe we could have a meeting where all the different people that are involved with economic development in the county, you know, whether it's Adrian City, Morenci, Tecumseh, you name it, with people like Lenawee now, there's a launch Lenawee out of Adrian Armory and bring everybody together to kind of do the same process.
So would it be all economic development or a different summit like for affordable housing and business attraction? And how do you view that? How would you envision that?
I think there's just so many different streams, and Jim would know this better than me. And everyone's kind of grasping at different things rather than coming together collaboratively like we are today.
So have like a overall summit that would be everybody involved in economic development and
Yeah.
maybe different
same
things
thing
would
with
break
tourism.
off from that.
Same thing with tourism.
Got
There's
it.
all these different, groups.
And then what, have like breakout sessions or something to, Or just-
Just a meeting to coordinate efforts. I mean, if the county's gonna work on tourism, all these different groups.
Would it be, you're looking for collective impact amongst the same groups? So
Yeah.
really everyone, like all the fish are swimming in the same direction.
Right, right. Like Visit Lenawee is doing this, but the county's gonna do this and all the municipalities are gonna do that. And we're just all running in different directions.
Right.
We don't know what the others are doing.
So, hold summits for economic development / tourism. Does that cover it?
Yeah.
Two different ones? At least two different ones. Okay. And probably you want to figure out a process. You could do Disney storyboarding, I think, for something like that. Yeah, but so that, obviously you'll have a time in this where you hear people, just let people talk and figure that. But then you'll want to, whenever you have a divergent process, it helps to have a convergent process. So we're still in the divergent part of today. That's the fancy name for a brain dump. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and you'll rank. And that's the convergent part where you're actually then giving your priority to the items that are on this list. So, and that could take a couple meetings. This is it sounds like a big undertaking, but it sounds like something that could really get people focused too. So. All right, what else do we have? What other actions do you have in mind? Are you happy with the list or do you have more that you want to add?
I think the list is pretty good.
I would agree. Yeah. So, but again, the brain dump means you're emptying your head. So everything you can think of that you think the county needs to do is going on the list. So are you happy? Is your brain empty? All right. What we'll do is we'll take a break and then maybe staff can join me at the table back there so we can categorize things in a way that makes sense for you, for the county. And then we'll come back and we'll have some ranking done. I would give us 20 minutes at least. Yeah, 20 minutes. We can get it done in 20 minutes, I think.
Yes.
So we will be in recess for 20 minutes.
All right, board members, if you could please join me at the back of the room. We'll complete the ranking exercise. And then we're also able to get this out to those who aren't here right now to rank, so you get the rankings of the full commission. So, all right, come on back, guys
And
and lady.
as a point of order, Commissioner Krasny was called away, but we still have a quorum.
All right. Go ahead and hang on to that. I'll kind of give instructions on what to do with these things.
Water?
All right, we're not in a hurry. You're good. You're good. All right.
I'm green.
So, and here you go, sir. Okay, first just pull the smaller ones off, the ones that are on top. Yeah, okay. Now, this is how we organize this. You have 5 categories. Economic development, develop collaborative plan with Lenawee Now, airport hangar expansion for economic development, restore tourism partners and plan, work with EDC for business attraction plan, hold summits for economic development and tourism. So that's your economic development category. We also have county facilities and services, complete a solid plan for judicial facility in 2026, complete county facilities space needs study, identify ME solution/collaboration, jail bed utilization plan, complete opioid settlement plan, identify human services building tenants. So that is county facilities and services. We also have communications and engagement is your 3rd category. Interact online for community engagement, develop engagement plan, and develop communication engagement plan for residents specifically. And that's communications and engagement. Organizational improvement, and the items under that are develop vision, mission, and values and overarching goals. Collaborate with agencies for housing rehab, complete plan for employee retention. Quality of life, develop interconnection trail inventory and plan, identify quality of life aspects in Lenawee. So that's the quality of life category. Is there anything that jumps out where you say, yeah, maybe that should be there or anything like that? Or do you like how this is organized? All right. So your first ranking exercise, elected people only, will be to only rank above the line. And we're going to play baseball, not golf. So high score wins. So put a 5 on the category heading above the line that you think is the most important category for Lenawee at this time. Yes, 5 above. So if you think quality of life, whoa, that's my number 1, then put a 5 on quality of life. Five is high, 1 is low relatively, yes. 5 is high. Yep. I know it's a little counterintuitive, but above the line, yes.
They only putting their number 5 out there right now?
No, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, 1 per category, so. And they're different colors, just so people can, once you get into the rest of the ranking, it'll make sense because it allows you to remember where you've been. No, we'll just add them up right in, I. Okay. Yeah, what I do is I add up each one and I put the score. And then I put a slash and how many people ranked it. And then I'll take a picture of it because stickers tend to fall off. And anybody who wants to take a picture is welcome to. So when we're done, so we'll do the next ranking will be to take, I think there's 20 total up there. And I think we'll give you 8 stickers now. And so same idea, except you're not going to worry about what category something's in. So you're going to put an 8 on the most important item on that wall below the line. So it's just a list of 20 things at this point. Don't even think about the category. Put an 8 on the number one individual thing that you think is the most important priority.
So we get 8 different ones we get to pick?
Yes, with 8 being your most important, 7 being your second most, 6 being your third most.
2 stickers on one?
Right. Oh, I had a mayor of Walker many years ago put all of his on widening Wilson. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right. Yes, 8 is most important. 7, 6, 5, 4, right on down to 1. And really, the thing about the list you've made today, there's nothing that's unimportant on this list. It's all a matter of how do you move the dial? How do you organize yourself to actually get it done? Eight is most important, all the way to 1. 1 sticker per item that you choose. Okay, so that's where you look at all the different ways you want to communicate to the different stakeholders you want to communicate with. And so is some of it going to be through cable TV or newspaper or newsletters or forums or summits or
I've done this before. I used to work for K2,
oh,
Shakespeare, they did it with a number of months, remember you could put so many points on the wall, like you said with the guy that put all the stickers on.
When I do Disney storyboarding, I do allow that. Yeah.
Thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can see the patterns develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the ones that you have so far. Okay.
All right, Chris, we need to figure out, and Shannon, what I need to do is count them up, write a number by them, and then do slash, and then how many voted for that one. But I'm sensitive of not wanting to mess up your soundboards. So whether we put something behind it while we do it or hold it out while we write on it. Okay. That'd be good. Yes, perfect. Here, I'll show you. So like for quality of life, we've got 5, 6, 7. So we'd write a 7/5 because the 5, it'll be important later to know how many actually selected something because it shows consensus. So what did I miscounted. Ah. The guy in charge of a $660 million budget can't count to 6. Do you think those markers will go through? Because they're not permanent. I don't think they'll go through, but that's not my risk to take. That's not my risk to take. Yeah. Yep, 1/0. Yep. Yes, 1/1, and then 0/0 for the bottom one. I just do that because stickers fall off and, okay. Did you notice a huge difference in sound when you got the soundboards up? Yeah. It was kind of echoey in here before that, or?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of. No, I've not done them yet. But I'll start that.
Yep, that's part of it.
Police chief, I went through the FBI National Academy.
At Quantico?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good process exactly. That was to build a new police department from scratch.
wow,
Both policy and physical.
really?
Amazing at first, 'cause you got people from all over the country.
Yeah,
Support. We're not here. As it goes on, you can see it start to come closer, closer, focus. It's kind of neat.
yeah.
One fella from Columbia. It was, my section. It was when the Olympics were to be in crew. And he was gonna be in charge, so he told all the guys in our particular section. I'm gonna go see anything, just give me a call, I'll get you in. Well, first you gotta get there.
Yeah, right, right. Right. One of my staff members has a brother who's marrying, he's in the military, and he was stationed in South Korea, and he's marrying a South Korean girl. And so, my staffer went to South Korea once, and now she's going back this year for the wedding.
It indicates how many votes.
Yes, yes. So on the top, all 5 of you voted for all 5 categories. It gets more important below when you see, because, sometimes when I do this, I have maybe a smaller number of commissioners give a high score. And so it's important to know both the score and the intensity. So you're right. So you know how many were interested in that item. Yeah, usually I bring staff with me to these. This was just too far of a hike on a Saturday. Yeah.
And staff.
Oh, yeah, you could, oh, yeah. In fact, usually what I do is I say, look, include anybody you want to include as far as board and staff. And then staff is welcome to put up ideas, just not rank. Now, I have done them with an executive staff before. It was just staff. In fact, I did it for Allendale one time. And, they basically, their top deal was to do a site condo ordinance revamp, and they spent about $45,000 with an attorney, and then their board didn't approve it. And I said, well, you need to do this with your board, because if you gather here and if you rank it high, then part of that is telegraphing to the staff that if they put the work into it, you're going to follow through and vote for it at a board meeting. And that's kind of the two-way accountability, where they're accountable to the plan, because I suggest they do a plan, bring it back to you to approve. But then you're accountable for where you rank something and then follow through and support it after the staff work is done. So. It really is, yeah. I mean, so, yeah, you look at this and your top category is county facilities and services. So is 37 the top score? Okay, so 37, so complete county facilities space needs study, 37, that's a lot, obviously. And then right above it, you've got the judicial solid plan for judicial with 31 votes. And so all five of you ranking did this one and four of you did the judicial. So obviously those are the top two things that you want to move the dial on over the next year. And then I think 23 next? Yeah, 23 and then 4. So develop mission, vision, values, overarching goals. I overheard you say you already have a vision and a mission. If it hasn't been revisited in a long time. Okay, all right. One of my points of PTSD in my life, the first time I was at Kent, we had 19 commissioners on, not 21. And the whole group of us, board and staff, developed a mission statement. I want, if I could have, the windows wouldn't open or I would have jumped out. But, and so, yeah, there's a good process for that too. Just, where you collect ideas. Yeah, so you have a tie with ME Solution collaboration and also jail bed utilization. Um, you could say that. I mean, I would say that what I'd like to do is make my top 5 list of the top 5 things that the board wants to move on. And so obviously you've got the complete facility space needs study, the complete the plan for judicial, the develop mission, vision, overarching goals, and then these two would round out 5. And then I look for the natural point that it drops off. And so it really drops off after a score of 14. The next highest score is 9, I think, or no, 11. You got 11. And so though there really isn't, all these things have value. They're all good things. And so the question now for the administrative staff is to go back and I will send a report from this session, and it will include a matrix of how you scored things and a summary of kind of the work you did here and a recommendation to put that into a plan. There's a format I love that I've used at Ottawa. I think a couple colleges use it in their curriculum. I've had to do different things at Kent because my board is more of a partisan board in that there's different voices. And so we've had to do some other things to get good participation and consensus. And we're making real progress, but we didn't use that format. But if you're interested, you could look at it. And if you don't like it, just pitch it. But just to bring them something back to approve. And then again, something may come up. How much, it's not going to cost you a lot to hold summits. So even if those didn't rank really high, you can still do them. I mean, so there may be things on here that you do, even though it didn't rank that high, but where you have scarce resources and you can only do so much with the money you have, that's where this ranking comes in the most valuable, because you can take this into the budget process now and again, identify the resources necessary to do these things. And if you have the time and resources to do some of the other things that didn't rank as high, you can do that. And I think it's really healthy to revisit this every year, kind of go through that brain dump exercise every year so that commissioners begin to see that they have a time to be thinking through the year. And again, not that it's 100% and not that things won't come up, but that if you think something needs to be done, then tell everybody right here, then you can discuss it and rank it. And then it's just been for me a very healthy process to maintain and build better and better board and staff relations, and to actually move the dial and get stuff done, because there's an intentionality to this where you think about it, you rank it, and then you'll have resources in the budget and you're going to get stuff done. I'm not saying you don't get stuff done. I'm just saying you're adding more intentionality to the process of how you get stuff done. yeah, I mean, if that's how you guys, it's whatever you guys decide, yeah, whatever works for you, so. Well, no, I'm just thinking that this changes for me with who I'm working for, and so it really is the meeting of the minds between you and the administrator on how you organize that. But to me, the important concept, when I first got to Ottawa, I had a whole filing cabinet full of strategic plans, and they had gotten some amazing things done. I mean, they created the countywide dispatch authority funded by a millage. They created the Parks Commission and moved parks from the road commission to the county. But it was like they saw a need, they did their plans, they completed the plan, and then there was no plan. I would suggest that it's really healthy as part of your business cycle to have this inform your budget process and have a place for accountability. I typically report out every quarter on where we're at. In Ottawa, I used what I call the stop sign method, where if it was printed in green in my quarterly report, it meant it was either done or the deadline hadn't happened yet. If it was in yellow, it meant that we missed a deadline, and then I need to discuss with the board why. Why did we miss it? Is there a good reason? Hopefully, that kind of thing. Or red, it means that the train's off the track, we can't do it. State law changes or some economic condition, but literally it's become such that it can't be done. And then again, that's another staff and board discussion to talk through that. Yes, they can do that. If that's the desire, yeah, it could change it a little bit. I'm guessing that those two are going to be, I mean, they're so high that, yeah, you might see a little bit of variance when you get down to the 14.1s versus 9 and 11. I'd like the idea of having them rank. I mean, I've had some boards say, nope, had to be present to win. But to me, it's helpful as you plot your future and allocation of resources to have all the voices rank. I would encourage that you have all, yeah. Right. And I don't know, so with us with ME, what happened was our provider of 40+ years sent us a note in mid to late November saying, we're done next year as of September 30. And medical examiners is kind of a tight deal because for our nation of what, 360 million, we have 440 pathologists in the nation that perform autopsies. And so it's not a field that is attracting, we need that, okay. Quincy, remember the TV show Quincy? We need like a Quincy show so that people want to go into this field again. But that's part of MSU's mission too, is they're looking at, developing kind of the educational infrastructure to hopefully help with this issue of turning out more medical examiners. So that's, I mean, I don't know, are you on a contract? Is it something you have to, I mean, that could be very important depending on how you're set up contractually and all that, but in the age of your medical examiner and all those kinds of things, so. Well, any comments or questions or? I think you did a really good job. And so you're able to have a good discussion about a whole number of points. You have a list that I don't think there's any garbage on this list. I think it's solid all the way through. And so, I think you did a good job. Right, yeah. And move some stickers around. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah, this is it. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm done. So. Yeah, I'll pick them up. That's good. You know, I'm gonna turn mine off. Do you want me to do it? What? No, if did you want to do a recap? Oh. Oh, they can hear me? You want me to stay back here or? Okay, all right.
Oh, Flynn wants you to come back up front so we can.
Okay, let me make sure I remember what all the. Okay,
We're gonna do a recap here.
here, I'm just gonna take a picture and then that'll work. Yeah, I just think I just need 2 pictures. Okay, that's good. Yeah, all I'm gonna do is, I'll give a summary of what we just did, and then, just wanna talk about the top 2, what they are, and then the third one, develop mission, vision, and then the next 2, the ME solution and the jail bed utilization. So,
Well, continuing this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have our facilitator give a little recap, and then we'll have a call to the public before we adjourn.
very good. So we've just gone through a ranking exercise of the brain dump that was done earlier. So we took the 20 items that were developed and we divided those into 5 categories. So economic development, county facilities and services, communication and engagement, organizational improvement, and quality of life. And we had 5 commissioners in the room who completed the ranking. The rest of the commissioners will do so electronically. And so our very top category was county facilities and services of the 5 categories, and second was economic development. And then we had our top individual item was complete a county facility space needs study. And then a close second was complete a plan for a new judicial facility in 2026. And then our third ranked item was to complete development of vision, mission, values, and overarching goals. And that's in the organizational improvement category. And then we had 2 tied for 4th and 5th. Identify medical examiner solution, which will very likely involve collaboration with other counties. And then also to complete a jail bed utilization study plan to basically look at how maybe roughly 100 beds could maybe be better utilized. And after that, the scores dropped off a little, but the next highest would have been work with the EDC for business attraction, develop a business attraction plan. And then maybe the other one worthy of note at this point would be completing a plan for, or actually be starting to interact online with the community. And so engagement online on county matters with the community. As mentioned, this really is an outstanding list of items. They all have value. And the purpose of a session like the board engaged in today is to be able to prioritize for the upcoming budget process with the idea that the top priorities will get funded and have the staff and or consultant time behind them to complete those. And then if this process were done again next year, the things would come off the list, new things would go on, be reprioritized. And just as a solid way to have a business cycle that keeps focus on getting things done. And I think that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. We
All right.
appreciate it. We will now have the call of the public. No public here. Commissioner comments. I'd like to thank Al. Al, I think, you brought everyone together and did a tremendous job here. I think it shows in the highlights, especially when you look at the numbers and how they've come together. So we appreciate all that you've done for us here. And I'll ask the administrator whether she has any thought.
I really appreciate not only Mr. Vanderwerk coming, all the way over here from Kent County to help us facilitate this, but I also want to thank the commissioners who are here today because you really came up with some great ideas, not only through the SWOT test, but also in identifying some of the action items going forward. And so I think that you should be proud of that. We'll see if it changes when we have the other 4 commissioners weigh in a little bit, but I think this is really going to give us the backbone to develop our strategic plan going forward. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Commissioners, comments? Commissioner Collins.
I too would like to thank Al. I think the process was an excellent process. It actually showed us what it is we really want to do and how we want to go about it. So not only kudos for the program, but thank you much for coming.
Commissioner Ungst.
I too would like to thank Al and Kim for setting this up. I got great value out of this. I've done these type of things before in my previous career, but this really fell right in line with it. It's great team building, so thank you.
Commissioner Blanco.
Yes, I agree to everything that was said and, you know, it's a great process because we can throw all these ideas, but it really helped us to hone in and funnel down to what needs to happen. So that we aren't so scattered. And I really appreciate learning this process. I've done this too in different careers, but not, you know, related to county government and how and what to focus on to get things done. So thank you so much.
Anybody else? Thank you, commissioners, for your attendance, and thank you, staff, for putting this all together. Commissioner Tillotson.
Yeah, I would also like to thank Al for coming down. And it's the first time I've done it this way, and I think there's a lot of merit in it. And the job's not finished, but it's well on its way. And so he's gonna analyze it, come back with some recommendations, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
We'll move.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Ungst. All those in favor signifies by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. We're adjourned.